Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Escape the System, Retire Early. My name is Mike, I'll be your host, and this episode we are diving into our Excel budget. This budget that you see in the background is a template I created based off my own personal budget, and I'm going to be giving it away for free. So there is a link included in the details of the video, and I'm going to try to throw one up here on the video as well, where you can go ahead and download this Excel file. You could use it on Google Drive. This way you could access it from anywhere, or you could use it offline in Excel or WPS, which is a free version of Excel, which is what I use. All right, let's jump right on into it. So you can see in this budget here, pretty simple budget. The reason I do prefer Excel for new people who are new to budgeting is it really does a good job of teaching you how a budget works, what goes into a budget, and you could customize this budget as much as you want, make it as detailed as you want, or as general as you need it to be. So you can see here I got, basically breaks it down into two categories, income and expenses. And then down below we'll have your savings and your savings rates. This is one thing I like a lot about this budget versus the YNAB budget, where it doesn't show you your exact savings rate, which this will. And these will be really important, especially if you've seen episode 1, how important your savings rate is in determining how many years of working you will need till you'll be able to retire. So if you haven't seen it, definitely recommend checking it out before continuing here. So I'm going to link that as well, hopefully right here in the video. With that being said, this budget does a good job at the savings rate and showing you your savings rate from your main income, which would be your W-2 paycheck, and also your savings rate of all your income, and then it does break it down. Also includes any principal payments you make on any of your rental properties or any of your homes, and shows your savings rate based on that too, broken into the two categories: main job and all income. The reason I like to break down the savings rate like that is because if you could get your main income savings rate up to 100%, it's actually the time you have officially reached FI, and you are now financially independent from that job. So you no longer need to work it for financial purposes. If it's a great job and you love it, go ahead, continue on working. If you just want to keep making it money and save a ton of money, then you can keep working. But just know you have that power to not have to work, since you are financially independent and saving over 100% of that. So it's a quick and easy shortcut to early retirement. So I know in the first episode, it's like if you save 50%, you could work for 17 years, but it doesn't take into consideration you creating an extra stream of passive income where when you're retired, you're not going to lose that passive income, as it either uses no work or little to no work. So this will still be here in retirement and covering your expenses. And if you could even get 10, 20, 25% of your expenses covered by this passive income, that could dramatically lower the amount of years you need to work. And you could cut that number, in a quarter, if not more, depending on how much passive income. So now let's dive into exactly how this budgeting works. So you could fill out this first column, column C, before, if you have a good idea of what you make on a monthly basis. So say you make $5,000, you go ahead and plug that in. If you have other income, you could plug it in here. If you don't, you could simply hide these columns, but I wouldn't recommend hiding them. I would just leave them blank for now. You could put zeros in there for now. But these will be good reminders for you to eventually look into side hustles and other streams of revenue to help offset that main income and help increase your savings rate. And that's actually where we're going to go with our next episode on here. It's going to be all about side hustles, different side hustles, the importance of them, and many ways you can get them started in your part-time, not having to commit full-time hours to it. So definitely, leave those in there, leave them blank if you don't have it. And then you can continue down through here, and you could rename all these expense categories, use them as is, edit them up as much as you need to. If you're paying rent, change this to rent. But if you're paying a mortgage, type in your mortgage here, and go ahead and try to best estimate your expenses and everything. And obviously, if you don't have a dog and cat, you could change this category. You could simply delete it. And the formulas will work with anything inside here being recorded as an expense. So you'll see, if you click on the total of the expenses, if you're going to change that or you want to insert even any more, as long as you do it within that blue box, it will include it as an expense. So you could add in a whole other category, or if this category doesn't pertain to you, you could just simply rename it and change the names of these categories as well. And in the beginning, if you're not sure with all your expenses, I would say just go ahead and hop right into budgeting then. I actually set up the budget after a few months of budgeting because at that point I had established, where my money was going and what the categories were. So, it depends on your grasp of your current expenses situation and how you want to get started. Feel free to go through here and give a rough estimate of what all your budgeting things, and then you could always update it after the first month or after the first couple months of budgeting and see what that budgeted amount should really be for each month going forward. So there's two ways to now fill in each month. So if we wanted to start with July, we could here. That's how I have this set up since I'm going to be trying to release this video on today. I believe August 1st is my goal. So hopefully it's up there by today. If not, hopefully within a few days. But either way, if you wanted to go back to July 1st, or even if you want to go back to June, you feel free to do so, and you could upload your transactions onto here from your credit card website, or you can manually insert them in, and I'll break that down for you. But if you did want to, go backwards in time, just go ahead and insert a column to the left for, one more month. If you wanted to go 6 months, insert 6 columns, and then just copy and paste this first column here over to here and call it June. If you want to go back another month, continue to do that until you're back to the month you want to start. And that, for just this purpose of this example, I'm just going to start with July. I've also included in here, I've hit them for now, but I'll show you them, is the next couple months. If you wanted to continue this budget, how you would do it. You would just easily insert another column, and then you could take an existing blank row and just copy it, Control C, and then paste it over here, and then change this to December. Change this to December up here. Oh, fail. Let me try that one more time. Sorry, guys. And there, December will be there. Now, when you're ready to start the next year, you come over here and start inserting your next year. And before this, you populate anything to December. I would copy this over to here and call it January 2022. But for this purpose of this shows, we're going to start with July. And I want to hide these other rows to just keep them out of the way. All right, and like I was saying before, there's 2 ways you could fill in your monthly expenses for each month. You could do it manually if you don't have many expenses and it's easier and it's just how you want to do it, kind of, do it day by day or once a week or however you want. You could just come in here and manually type in your expenses. So if you got paid on the 1st of the month, you could type 7-1, you could type your job's name, you could say paycheck, and you could put the amount, say 5,000. We'll call this salary, or whichever budget category we want. So in this budget, we actually call the main job / paycheck. So just to make that work, we would put that main job / paycheck. You could write the name of the account that it came from. You don't have to. This is more for, I like to put this here because make sure I got my transactions from every account. And if you ever needed to look into it, you know where to look to see if that was the actual amount and whatnot. So once you have this income put in here, to link it to this website, this tab on the Excel file, you simply click over to there, go into here, click put an equal sign, and then come into your transaction and click this. Since it's main job and income, you want it over there. If you end up getting a second paycheck, you could simply add a plus sign and then click on that next time you get the paycheck and add it into there. If you're doing this at the end of the month and you had multiple paychecks, or say on your side income, you had multiple payments from Airbnb, you simply click equals sum, throw open parentheses sign, and then come over to here and highlight everywhere where it said that you were paid Airbnb rent. And that will add them all up and put them into one spot for you. So we'll do that the same way with all of your expenses. And it's up to you how you want to do it. You could either just, like I said, just manually fill in this info, date, vendor, say you went grocery shopping, you put the date, you put the vendor, say Publix, you could just write groceries, write the amount, and we're going to call that category as groceries. So we'd call that groceries here as well. And then we'll call that groceries as well. And then at the end of the month, or as you're going, you could start linking these back over. I personally take my transactions from my credit card websites and my bank accounts, download them into an Excel file, and then adjust the column headers to match this. So sometimes, like for example, Citibank will give it to me with date, vendor, and amount and category. So I'll just insert a column on that Excel file that they give me and insert description and then make it match. And then once they match, I'll copy and paste it over here and then start giving everything a category. Once all my categories are populated, I'll sort this whole group by category and then link them over to here. One other thing I wanted to go over with you that I forgot to mention earlier was here too. I created a column for your principal payments. I touched upon it, but if, for example, you have a $1,200 mortgage on your mortgage statement, you should see how much of that percentage goes into principal. That is technically a savings amount. You're paying down your house and saving that and adding equity into your house. So you could include that there just for if you're interested in how much you're saving with your percentage with your principal income, and you can see down below it will break those savings percent rates out, including your principal payments, main job, all income, and then without including the main job and all income sources. So that could be handy. And one of the other things that I've created recently, now that I've had the experience with YNAB is my savings breakdown. Typically in the past, I would take, okay, at the end of the year, I had end of the month, I had $3,800 saved this month, or for this example, $5,000, but you didn't put your expenses in yet. So say it's around $3,000. I would then come over mentally. I would do this. I would say, okay, from that savings, I'm going to, I already have an automatic transfer, say, of $1,000 to a, low index fund account, say M1 Finance. So that automatically is transferred out. Now I'm left with $4,000. I would in my head say, all right, I'm going to put $500 to an emergency fund, and the other $400 I'm going to save in my savings account for my rental property that I want to buy in the future. And I would just kind of note that in my head and continue to do that each month. And typically I knew my savings account had my rental income fund, my checking account held my emergency fund, and any other opportunities I wanted, I also just put in my savings account. So those are all kind of just lumped in, and it wasn't as easy to see, exactly how much I had. But I knew, my savings account, my bank account was for these opportunities, rental, whether they be rentals or other opportunities. I knew my checking account held my emergency fund, and then I knew for my money making machine was everything I put into my M1 Finance or my Vanguard accounts. And once it was in there, I wouldn't touch that money. So it helped, but I do like how YNAB actually tracks those savings categories, keeps track of them, and you could look back and see exactly what's in each savings account. So I try to create something that I'm going to now do going forward, or like I was saying before in that other episode, I might actually move over to YNAB some of my other budgeting and leave this budgeting for my rentals. I haven't decided, but this savings breakdown tab I created to do exactly that. So at the end of each month, I can now come over to here and say, okay, I have, for my example, pretend we ended up having $1,000, or let's just go with $1,200 in other expenses, and we saved $3,800. We could go into my savings breakdown and know, all right, well, I had that $1,000 auto transfer come out of my money making machine, and now I have $2,800. Where do I want to put it? I want to put $500 into here, and then break down that other $1,300 with, say $1,000 for my rental fund, because I really want to work on that, and there's $300 for any opportunity that I'm not aware of that may come up in the future. And then I'll have this here now, and next month I'll do the same thing, and you can see if you fill out this month and say you end up actually just saving the same amount next month, you'll see that this total column will actually track your total columns and how much is in each account. So this is kind of my way to help keep track of the savings. So if you want to use it, feel free to use it. If not, that's fine too. Like I've said in other episodes, and I just want you guys to budget. The power of budgeting cannot be underestimated. It's one of the most helpful tools. It breaks down and gives you full control of your money. You could be more consciously spending, and you could hit that early retirement a lot sooner if you're budgeting, and be a lot more conscious where you spend your money. You'd be surprised on where your money's going, how much unnecessary things you're purchasing, and what you're left to show with it. It's much better to save for those vacations, save for those passive income, and save for that early retirement, and then have that to show for your money versus not really keeping track of where you're spending it, and then realizing, wait, I spent how much on going out to eat, and how much on tchotchke little purchases here and there, versus, oh wait, I didn't spend it on those, I barely went out to eat, and instead now I have this huge vacation plan, and I'm planning to buy an investment property within a few years. And it's honestly magical on how much better your money does for you when you're conscious about it, and you assign a job to every single dollar. So again, please, if you don't take anything from this episode or the last couple episodes, just take away the fact that you need to budget, especially if you want to play in this game of early retirement. I'm here with my little helper. She's got a very important message for everybody. What would you like to tell everybody?
Save their money.
Save your money. And
Save your money.
and what does your nanny do?
She does not save money.
What does she do with it instead?
Buy things.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah. Say thanks. Have a good day.
Thanks. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys. She wanted that in there. We'll probably throw that into the video. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Cheers.